Hey, everybody. I want to kind of stray off the Idaho path tonight, and love to you as well, Bianca. Uh, what I want to talk about is Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and she sat down for an interview with 60 Minutes Australia, where she talks about a wide variety of things, including her uh, coming baby. Personally, she doesn't need to be a mother. Yeah, but this is her own mother. I agree. It may have started with believing there was an illness, and when she say the attention and resources decided to make a career out of using her daughter. Yeah, you are very correct there, Maven. But at the same time, she started getting ideations about killing her mother to get away from her mother, knowing that these thoughts would more likely land her in prison. And I honestly think she used her boyfriend at the time to carry these homicides out, and then use him as the fall guy because she ended up testifying against him, and he got life in prison. Exactly, Maven. So a better life was the real motivation. It seems like she would still be a threat. If she wants something in the future, she can justify any action to get it. I understand how hard it is to leave an abusive relationship, but many people figure it out and get away. Exactly. She she came up with the plan to kill her mother. She bought, the murder weapon. She got her boyfriend at the time to do the deed. He told her to go to the bathroom and stay there, which she did. And then she wanted to help her mother, but she couldn't because she was paralyzed in her own skin. Gee, what does that sound like? It sounds like frozen shock phase. Yes, exactly, Maven. She chose this outcome. She chose to testify against her boyfriend at the time. He got life in prison, and she got 10 years. So you are right there. She chose this outcome. Her thoughts, her actions, her buying the murder weapon. She chose to kill her mother. She chose to buy the murder weapon. She chose to bring her boyfriend at the time in on the crime. He carried the crime out. They ran off to Wisconsin together, hoping to have a better life, even though that didn't work out. So she is in Wisconsin. She gets on her mother's social media, posts a vulgar word, people knowing that her mother wouldn't cuss, just in order for a house check to be done. So explain that to me. She told on herself. She wanted to get caught. She wanted to get caught. And I'll yeah. So let's add conniving and manipulative. Sounds like the apple don't fall far from the tree. Exactly, Maven. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. She's conniving. She manipulative, just like her mother. Proper burial and a proper funeral. You murdered your damn mother. Stupid. You go to this great length to to think about the crime, plan the crime, buy the murder weapon. You tattle on yourself while you're in Wisconsin. And now you're saying, after you had this entire thing planned out, the murder of your mother, having your boyfriend at the time do it, now you're saying that you just wanted her to have a proper burial. Yeah, you're right. Maybe she is ridiculous. Oh, I'm gonna connive to kill my mother, and I'm gonna get on her Facebook and put out a cuss word because people know she wouldn't do that. And I'm gonna get the police to to do a house check on the house after I had my boyfriend kill her. And oh yeah, I just wanted her to have a proper burial. What bullshit is that, Gypsy Rose? Maybe she's out now. Hey Annie, yes, she is the biggest liar. So, so were the doctors who played along with her illness to the point of putting her on a feeding tube? Did they face criminal charges? Um, Sky actually, um, they didn't play along. They were duped by her mother into believing that she was had all these different medical problems with her. So it wasn't the doctors that played along. It was the fact that they were lied to and they were duped and they were scammed. Hey Annie, how you doing tonight? Yeah, she didn't have most of what she said. Correct, Annie. Hey, Maven.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Um,
Can you hear
uh,
me okay? Is the
yeah, I can hear.
microphone?
Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay,
Okay,
good.
Annie said that her mom did not have much housing by proxy either. So what did her mom have, Annie? Yeah, yeah, I was actually
Mm.
living in Missouri at the time that she murdered her mother back in 2017. I lived in Seneca, Missouri, and uh, where her mom was murdered at was Springfield. So it was about a 30-minute drive, 30 to 45-minute drive from where I was living at the time with my wife.
Mm.
Yeah,
And so what year did you say that the actual
the crime happened in
event?
2017.
2017.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she got a decade in prison. Annie said right here, you can't diagnose a dead person. You
Mm.
can't you couldn't diagnose her with Munchausen by proxy. Okay, what she say again?
Yeah.
She
Well,
didn't
I think
have all the
maybe
surgeries.
I wonder if you're thinking more of like a hypochondriac, somebody who's a hypochondriac and, you know, fakes illnesses,
Yeah.
and she was doing that by proxy through her daughter,
Yeah.
maybe.
Annie said it was 2015.
2015. Wow. So that's 10 years ago. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Annie said she had issues in conning.
Down a little. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say she had issues in conning, and she, uh, her daughter picked up on all of that as well, I think.
Yeah. Um, in this, Gypsy Rose is pregnant.
Mm,
I don't know if she lost the baby or what, but the guy that she's talking about, right here, she ended up cheating on him and leaving him. So she's with
mm.
somebody else now. I don't know who she's with, but I know she's with somebody else now.
It's kind of
And I,
scary to think of her raising her own daughter
yeah,
or son, raising a child.
yeah, and the guy that actually yeah went along with the murdering of her mother, she ended up testifying against him at his court date.
Mm.
So
Which was probably a backup plan of hers all along. It's like if they get away with it, then okay, great. She's got this wonderful life that she's dreaming of. And then if they get caught, she'll just blame it on him.
yeah, and that's exactly what he did. And he said he got life. He got
Mm.
life without parole, and she got a 10-year sentence, and where she got to walk free.
Yeah. Well,
And
regardless if he was manipulated by her or not, he did the deed. And that had to have been horrific. So,
yeah,
yeah.
and he said here she doesn't care. And then
Mm.
Sky Blue says, "Damn."
Yeah.
Okay, she's online doing sketchy things.
Mm. A thought just crossed my mind.
What?
This was one person that was taken out with a knife.
Yes.
Do we know, did they ever testify or admit how long it took him to do it?
Okay. The guy that did it was autistic and easily fell for her.
Mm.
Um, no, from what she had stated earlier, she'd come up. She thought about the crime. She came up with the plan. She was the one that bought the murder, and then she used him to carry it out.
Yeah. And,
And
and she was talking about going into her room and kind of
uh,
hiding through it because she could hear everything happening.
he told her, uh, to go to the bathroom and stay in the bathroom. And that's
Oh,
what she
bathroom.
did. She went to the and stayed in the bathroom, and she could hear what her mother was going through. And she said that that she wanted to help, but she was frozen in her skin.
Yeah. Well, the reason that this has come into my mind is just related to the Idaho 4, not to sidetrack this whole show. The show's about Gypsy
Yeah,
Rose, but I'm just wondering how long it took one person with one knife, I guess I can say
yeah,
knife, right, to do what he did, comparing to the amount of time that Brian Koberger is supposed to have had to do 4 people who fought back. They
yeah,
have defensive injuries, you know.
yeah. Here's what Annie said. Um, there's so much to know. Uh, she stole the knife from Walmart, and I
Oh,
guess I said something. She said that's questionable. Welcome in, Dragon approved. He said feeding, and Sky Blue kind of chuckled and said frozen shock phase
yeah,
when she was frozen in her skin.
yeah,
But I mean, like you just said that. I would like to know exactly how long it took her boyfriend to do the deed. To do the deed, but at the same
yeah.
time, she got on her mom's. Okay, if the back wounds were before deletion, why is there only red stuff on Dee Dee's pillow?
I don't know what that means. Is Dee Dee the mother?
Yes, Dee Dee was her mother. Dee Dee Blanchard was her mother. He said if the back wounds were, uh, I get, were before deletion,
Right, right,
means ending her life. Why is
right.
there only red stuff on Dee Dee's pillow?
Yeah, so what I'm getting from that is that the crime scene apparently um, only had red stuff on the pillow and not on the rest of the sheets. Yet there were wounds in her back.
Yeah. Yeah. Annie said
Mm.
she got neck wounds. Um, she had blankets over her,
Hmm.
and then she said start with interrogation videos of I guess of Gypsy and the guy. But
Hmm.
uh, I mean, it just goes to it really goes to it really goes to show you that she got on her mother's social media and posted a cuss word because she knew that the friends on her mom's social media page would know that her mom didn't cuss. So
Right.
that was her wanting to get the police to go do a house check. So is
Yeah.
was she like really wanting to get caught?
I don't know. I don't think she was thinking it through very well. I think that she was immature. She'd sheltered. I don't think she had critical thinking skills like we do, which
Yeah.
is why we're here and why we're interested in true crime, is because we have critical thinking skills and things don't add up, right? But
Yes.
you're talking about somebody who doesn't have critical thinking skills, you know. Um, yeah, that was just stupid, you know.
And
I
well,
think.
she must have critical
Yeah.
thinking skills because she thought this crime out, she planned it, and then she ended up throwing her own boyfriend under the bus, and he got life in prison without parole. So there's got to be some type of thinking skills there.
I see what you're saying. And I think that, like, to try and orchestrate a particular manipulation, but that's very narrowly focused rather than thinking about various consequences. And I mean, it's like, who else is going to be writing this message? Okay. I mean, on one hand, you want people to know that it's not the mother saying this cuss word. whatever that is,
Yeah.
right? You want them to know it's not the mother writing it so that they go check on her. And yet you don't think that's going to implicate you in any way?
Yeah. Like Annie just said, she wanted her mom to be found. And then Annie said she's a planner.
Yeah. But planning in a very limited sense,
Yes.
you know, not making all the connections, though, of consequences.
Sky Blue says she wanted someone else to find her mom's body. And then Annie said she turned the temperature down. Or she tried to turn the temperature down.
Well, she described her daily routine as her mother giving her food in her feeding tube, and then they'd watch TV, and then she'd get another feeding and she'd get her medicine and they'd watch TV. So it seems like all she did was watch TV. And I wonder how many crime shows they watched, you know, whether like Law and Order or horror movie. Did they watch horror movies? Did they, you know, what did they watch on TV?
Yeah. But see, it's, at the same time, like, like Annie said earlier, her mom would con people. So she used she used Gypsy to get all this stuff. Habitat for Humanity built them a custom home. She used Gypsy to get that custom home built. She used Gypsy to bring in money for grants and medical and everything else. Okay.
Yeah, and I heard about Disneyland, the Make-A-Wish Foundation and stuff like that.
She sent a post claiming it was the person who murdered Fifi,
Fifi, Dee, whatever, the mom. Yeah.
Disney. They both.
So she actually claimed, you know, I'm the murderer. I'm not Gypsy Rose, but the person writing this. I am the murderer.
She says, she's and she also said that she is the victim plus the perpetrator.
Yeah.
And she
said that.
Yeah.
I love that with the origin story.
Yeah.
She's like, something traumatic happened. You have a trauma early in life and it changes you into the villain. Right. And I know that in her mind, she's thinking that it was just this one act. Right.
Yeah.
That she was involved. She did her time. Yes, she was the villain for that one act. But you know what the thing is about villains? I don't think that there's ever been a villain that ever changed into not being a villain. They die a villain.
There. Yeah. And you just said.
And she even used the word evil. She said they become evil. And I'm like, well, then if you're making this analogy about yourself, you're saying you became evil.
And he said they let out FOIA videos and it blown up.
Oh, that's why people are talking about it again. Ah, okay. Mastermind was a great cartoon.
Great.
Oh, Megamind. Yeah, she still did. Annie, this is what I was saying earlier, that number one, the apple did not fall far from the tree. Okay. As far as all the manipulating and the conniving and all of this. And then also I mentioned about the, that she's still a threat because from her own words, she said what she was thinking at the time, not now that I've had therapy and all that, but at the time I was only thinking about how to have a better life.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to date. I want to be able to wear makeup. I want to be able to do these things that normal people do. And so therefore, the only way that she could think of to get out of her situation, to be able to have the things that she wants, was to, you know, take care of her mother so that she could get away. And so if her thought process is that I want something and then I'm willing to do this to get it, that thought process is her core. And so she could do it again and again and again, because now I want this. So I'll just do this to this person.
Yes.
She's still a
And
threat.
Andy said, and she has a child.
So she did have that baby. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And that's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Annie,
it's possible for people to go through trauma and have therapy. You know, people who had a bad childhood can learn from that bad childhood, become a better person, and raise their children in the way that they always thought they should be raised, right? The way that they wish they had been raised, you know,
yes.
especially if they have a good partner that's a good, solid partner that came from a good family that knows how a good family is supposed to be, then you've got that training there with your partner. But without that, it's just like a continuation. I mean, she might not do the same type of manipulation, but there's going to be manipulation involved.
Dragon Approved said, if her mother said to leave that night, why go back? And Sky Blue says, she has a child that's scary. Annie says, watching the Foria shows she was alone enough. Yeah, and yeah, yes, Annie agrees with you. Agrees with you. It was very scary. Annie said she didn't have therapy when she was locked up. Dragon Approved says, when a victim becomes a survivor, and she hustled guys for money in prison.
Hmm. So it's all hustling. It's all manipulation. It's all conniving, you know. And I hadn't heard. This is the first time I heard that the mother actually told her to leave.
Yeah, that's the
So
first
she
time I
had a
heard about
way.
it
So she
too.
had a way out. Hmm.
Yeah, and that's the first time I heard about it too. She said, "Into the Woods." He has all the videos, and
Hmm.
that's the name of the creator. Into the Woods. He has all the videos.
Of all
Annie,
these FOIA.
yeah,
Mhm.
Annie Dragon. While you're here, why don't you go ahead and sub to the channel and leave a like on while you're here. Annie says lots of money on her tablet in prison.
Hmm.
So she had lots of money on her books in prison.
In the
Yeah.
prison that she had a key for to open, you know, I guess so that they could lock their private belongings, and so other inmates couldn't go in. Like if so, it's time for me to go to work. I had a job, woohoo! You know,
Well,
so
see,
you
here's the
leave your
thing though.
cell
When
and
I
lock
when
your cell.
yeah, see, here's the thing though. When I was in prison back in '06 to '06 to '08, I didn't have a key for my own cell. I had to wait for an
Yeah.
officer to open the cell for me. So, you know, unless she was at Camp Cupcake, then then that's the only way she'd have a key to her cell if she was at Camp Cupcake. Spoonful of Tunes says it's woods into the weeds podcast or into the woods podcast.
Well, I think
Dra-
Spoonful of Tunes is correcting Woods to say it's weeds.
okay. Uh, she was paid 300K for TV shows in a trust under someone else monitoring my guest Christy. Okay, Christy.
Hmm.
On her tablet, renting movies, mailing her friends and guys.
Yeah. And then Dragon also mentioned earlier that during the interrogation is when she said that her mother kicked her out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then there was no need. What would the benefit be then if she's already kicked out?
Oh, Christy is Gypsy's stepmother. Yeah, so it
How
was
does
her
she,
stepmom. Her
you,
dad,
you,
her dad's new wife, I get, or her dad's new wife. Her mom her mom asking her to leave changes the story. I thought she was like a prisoner, and then she goes, "I'm getting my
right.
glasses on." So yeah, Sky Blue says her mom asking her to leave changes the story. I thought she was like a prisoner.
Mhm.
So if her mom asked her to
Yeah.
leave that night, she should have left. I don't understand why her and this guy came back to murder her mom after her mom said, "Go ahead and leave."
Right. Because it was already planned. She
Yeah,
already went to Walmart and stole the weapon.
yeah.
It
Gypsy's
was
so a
she was
spoonful of
focused.
tunes. Spoonful of tunes. The Gypsy's motive was to forfeit taking care of her ill mother.
Oh, was the mother? She's 20. She was 24 years old,
Yeah,
and the mother was ill, and she had to take what?
Dee Dee had spoonful of tunes said Dee Dee had many illnesses,
Mm,
and Annie said Gypsy planned it out for 2 years.
right. So when you have a plan and that's your focus, and you're immature and you're sheltered and you don't have real critical thinking skills, that plan has to you don't have any other options. Oh, well, now I don't have to do this plan. No, I've spent 2 years making this plan,
Yeah,
right?
and Dragon says yes, I agree. Dee Dee was diagnosed with a lot. Annie said Dee
Mm,
Dee had diabetes and cancer, and she planned it out with Nick for 2 years. Uh,
mm,
the guy that's serving life in prison, she planned it out with him for 2 years. But what I don't
mm.
understand is if her mom said go ahead and leave, why come back and murder her if she was already told to leave? That would have been her
Right,
out. That would have been her out. That would have been her being able to spend the rest of her life with Nick in Wisconsin. But no,
right.
she
If
can't.
that was the truth.
Yeah, but no, she came back and she murdered her mother by proxy through Nick.
Yeah.
Even though they planned it together, she did not take part in the actual unaliving of her mother. It was by proxy through Nick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And he says she knew how to run the computer, cell phones. She never tried to get help. And I go back to that. And Dragon approves said, well, Nick tried to get her to run away with him, told his friend that it may be a plan B over the other.
Hmm. So which one was the plan B? The just running away would be the plan B.
Yeah.
So Nick wanted it to be plan B, let's just run away.
Yeah.
But
And
she
and
was fixed on plan A.
yeah. Spoonful of Tune says Dee Dee has hyster
Hysterectomy.
had a hysterectomy, gout. The mom was on heavy narcotics, and Gypsy had three main prescriptions, like an inhaler and
Yeah.
laxatives. Okay. And he says no, they were arrested at Nick's house. So yeah, they were arrested in Wisconsin at Nick's house. Dragon approves it exactly, and he said that Gypsy just wanted her gone.
Yeah. Well, the truth is when she was talking about the villain, she
Yeah,
didn't realize how
the
true that
origins,
was.
the villain origin
Right.
story.
Right. When she was talking about that, that is the truth. But she didn't realize how profound it really was and how revealing it really was when she
Yes.
said it. She thought it would mean one thing, and she didn't realize that what we can see, okay, yeah, you had trauma and you became a villain, and that didn't end once the act was done. You're still the villain because your mind is screwed up.
Yeah, if you saw the way she portrayed it and said it, it was also coming out kind of vain as well. And this is my origin
Mm-hmm.
story.
Neeny, neeny, neeny. You know, yeah, because that's kind of, it's cool. It's a popular genre, now to have these origin stories of villains, so that we have sympathy with these villains because, oh, look at all these sad things that happened to turn them into a villain. But her focus is on that. Like, oh, look at all these traumatic things that happened, ... focus. Not realizing that the other half of after the ... is they turned into a villain.
Yeah. Yeah, just like Annie says here, she should not be out. And then Dragon Approved said she steals every story in her life.
Yeah.
She uses others to, she uses other stories too. And I think that's what Dragon Approved meant by stealing every story in her life is she stole other people's stories. And Annie was just kind of backing it up there, right there. She uses other stories too.
Yeah. Well, when I was young, my mom and dad had divorced when I was like 3 or 4 years old. Of course, they never said the word divorce to me. I just knew that I lived with my mom and I would see my dad occasionally. Right.
Yeah.
And that was fine with me. I didn't know that wasn't the way it was supposed to be. Right. And that was normal for me. Okay. And so as I was young, like kindergarten, first grade, maybe second grade, something, young. But I'd watch TV a lot. I sat in front of the TV growing up. And one of the shows I watched was the Monkees. I loved the Monkees. Well, I had this one picture of my dad. Huh?
I said, hey, we're the Monkees.
Exactly.
John
I
Smith
loved it.
said Happy New Year to us.
Oh, good. Hey, same to you, John. So before you read Dragons, let me finish this. So I literally thought that Michael Nesmith was my father because I had a picture of my dad wearing a beanie that looked very similar to Michael Nesmith on the Monkees. All right. And so I would tell my friends, hey, my dad is one of the Monkees. See, and that's why he's not around all the time because he's busy performing. He's busy doing a TV show and making music because my dad's one of the Monkees. And I really believed that as a child. I know that's not true. And I don't know how long that lasted before I figured out, oh, no, my dad's not the Monkees. But I thought it at the time. I remember being a child and really believing that, So I can see how if all she does, not just as a young child, but she's not having interaction with other kids and being able to go out and play and all the other parts of childhood that round you out, right? She doesn't have all of that. She's sheltered. She's confined. She's in being manipulated by her mother. So she's learning the art of manipulation by being manipulated, and then then she would get mixed up with all that. So what happened to me, let's say at 5 or 6 years old, could happen to her at 20.
Yeah.
And mix up and take and adapt those stories that you see on TV, not to mention getting idea. How much do you know that television is actors, unless you're watching a documentary, it's actors, it's written by a screenwriter, it's fantasy, it's not real. Yes. And to think, oh, look, this is what somebody else did. I can do that. That's the answer to my problem. And start making plan A.
Yeah, exactly. Dragon Approved said, even the interrogation shows her telling a story. The family in Louisiana, fictional stories also, but yes, survivor stories as well. Sky Blue says, exactly like her comment about still being in prison, but in a bigger prison. You're talking about the outside world. John Smith.
Well, I think I think he's talking about the a prison with her mom, and then when she was in prison, it's a bigger prison.
No, what she was talking about, she went and did 10 years in prison. And
Hmm.
now she's in a bigger prison, uh,
Because of
which is the outside world.
perceptions.
Yeah, which is the
Yeah.
outside world, which to her
Mm.
is a bigger prison. And John
Mm.
McSmith said it was Michael Nesmith from the Monkees. Um,
Yeah.
Spoonful of Tunes said Gypsy also said in the FOIA videos she is able to intercept her mom's Facebook messages.
Well, that makes sense if she left one. Yeah.
Yeah. And Annie says she learned to be a bigger liar while she was in prison. John says smash
Mm.
that like button. Um, Sky Blue said she only had TV. And then, of course, we got Spoonful of Tunes. The internet was an avid reader. She read the full Twilight series and the 50 Shades of Grey books. And
Mm.
Annie says she will end up back in prison for something. And then, Sky Blue says, like soap operas, I thought they were real people who woke up looking perfect.
Yeah. And it's true.
But
There's a point where you don't know how real and how much is reality, because that TV, we perceive things through our eyes. And so what is in your eye, what comes in your eyes, but if that's from television, that becomes your reality.
Spoonful of Tune says, my aunt was incarcerated with Gypsy, and she said she was a troubled girl.
Wow.
Uh,
Interesting.
Annie says, and tried living the books out. The books that she read, she tried living them out.
Yeah.
Dragon of Proof says, I
Twilight
believe,
and 50.
yeah. Dragon of Proof says, I believe she tried to get away with it completely, but she didn't know M by proxy existed until her lawyers said it was a possible defense, then hired said lawyer as a manager.
Hmm.
Yeah, Annie says her voice goes into voice. Yeah, I know it's annoying that her voice goes to baby voice. Yeah, Annie says it grates on you,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just everything about her, Maven, just sends my red flags off. They're
Yeah.
like shooting into the air, like the distress fireworks from the Titanic.
Yeah. Well, think about this. What did her mother do? Her mother got various resources through sympathy. And what
Yes,
is she doing right now? She's trying to get sympathy.
yes.
It's exactly the same. I really worry for that child.
Oh, I mean, you and me both. You and me both.
Mm.
I'm worried for that child. Annie says even high, her voice gets higher when when she talks to guys.
Yeah. And do
And
guys like that?
uh,
Uh,
I don't know. Dragon approves said a product of of her upbringing. Boy, she's acting as
sure.
a product of her upbringing. And
Mhm.
Annie says, and has others doing her dirty work.
Right. They're both the same in that. Yeah.
Uh, Sky Blue
Oh,
says, Robert, who is the lady on your panel? I like her. Both of you very smart. Her name
well,
is
thank you.
her name is the Maven Sky Blue.
Yeah. I mean, my real name is Miriam. That's it. But yeah, I go by the Maven, and there's my channel at the Maven 2017. No, thank you.
But yeah, Sky Blue's a really nice person. Um,
Mm.
Dragon approves says she took a baby bottle when she ran away to meet Dan in prison. Ha ha! I don't think I don't think grown men like that. I don't. What did he say? Ha ha! I didn't think grown men liked that. And he said, "Gruff."
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of grown men wanting, to suckle on a live woman, but a baby bottle? No, I haven't heard of that.
Is Spoonful of Tunes still in here? Yeah, that was the person's name, Spoonful of Tunes. And you have Dragon laughing now.
Yeah. Well, it's the truth. I'm not saying anything about me. I'm just saying I've heard of.
Yeah. Sky Blue says red flag, red flag. Let's hear
So
some
who's
more.
Dan? When he said Dan, because I thought the guy arrested was Nick,
No,
right?
no. When she okay. She took
To
a
meet Dan
baby
in
bottle.
person.
She took a baby bottle to when she congratulations, Spoonful, you're a mod now. Um, let me get back. She took a baby bottle when she ran away to meet Dan in person. Ha ha! I don't think grown men liked that.
So who's Dan?
I don't know who Dan is.
Okay.
And he said from Vision Con, like Comic Con.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I think that
She
if
took a
the
bottle. The point was she took a baby bottle to meet some guy. I
yeah,
guess this is after she's out of prison then.
yes. Spoonful of Tunes says, I think that if the media didn't make Nick seem like he was cognitively more intellectual than Gypsy, like I think they used Gypsy's face, her chromosome deletion side effect, aka her a microcephaly. Um, Basically, even though Nick had autism and wasn't really all there, the media made it look like he had more cognitive function than her, which he actually had less cognitive function than her.
Hmm.
Uh, Dragon Approved said before she met Nick, he called Dee Dee to come get her. So Nick called Dee Dee, and Nick called Dee Dee and wanted to come and get Gypsy, and
Oh, that's the kicking out part. So Dee
yeah,
Dee called Nick to come and get Gypsy Rose because she's kicking her out.
yeah, and
Okay.
Spoonful of Tunes says Dan was the 30-plus-year-old man she ran away. To, and Dragon, don't forget she offered Dan Dee Dee's perks.
Percocet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Sky Blue says sick of media controlling the narrative.
Well, isn't that the truth in all of these, cases? The ones that are sus seem to be the ones that have the most media controlled narrative.
Yes.
I watched The Devil's Advocate and Birdie also. One of them was recently talking about this and how, well, The Devil's Advocate has filed letters, like certified letters to MSP, ISP. Well, not to MSP, I don't think, but ISP
the actual Attorney General of
exactly, the State Attorney General of Idaho, to Washington State University, all this, and he copied the media outlets, and it was very well written, and it was kind of like, I think there should be an investigation into the investigation of Idaho 4, right? I think there should be an investigation into how everything was handled because of new information that's come out based in the FOIA requests, right? Because in particular, the screams that can be heard on, around 2:30, then it couldn't. Brian Koberger was in Utah. I mean, I'm sorry, in Washington. He wasn't even in Idaho yet at 2:30. According to their own statement, according to their own narrative, he wasn't there, right? And but he laid it out kind of in some bullet points of these things that are the most concerning. And do you think even one national mainstream media is picking up on what's happening? It's like, well, are they asking the questions? Hey, yeah, what about this? What about that? Why aren't they interviewing, whoever the chief of police is now at Moscow? How do you explain this? Not one. They were given a narrative and they've stuck with that narrative, and anything that's not part of that narrative, they don't touch. And it's not just Idaho 4. It's all the cases.
Yeah, Dragon Approved just said, Gypsy claims Dee Dee hunted her down. Years before any of this, she met him at a comic convention. The picture of her dressed in Star Wars, she looks like a cabbie at night from home, bringing also an ID. And then, hold on.
Okay, I have some questions about that, but you can read these, but I want to go back to that.
Okay. Nick has filed a petition for a new trial. And then Dragon Approved says, Gypsy also claims she took her own mother's pain meds via feeding tube.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'll go back to that one so you can address that one.
Okay, so what we're saying, if I want to make sure I understand this, Dragon. What we just heard in this interview is that she'd been living at home, pretty much sheltered by her mother. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't wear makeup. She couldn't date boys. And she was in a feeding tube until she went to jail, and the jail took it out. Yet you're saying that, like, that's a lie because she actually went to a Comic-Con convention, or she went to a convention by herself, or her mother took her to the convention, because it's one of these perks, like going to Disneyland, went to a comic convention, villains. Okay. But so the mother took her out, or she was sneaking around.
I think
how would she sneak out of the house?
I think she was sneaking around.
Yeah. So I have questions about that, to understand what that. She's in a wheelchair with her mom. Okay, so the mom took her to the convention.
She left
after they got home.
Yeah. And a spoonful of tunes says, I think the mainstream media won't care until Gypsy tarnishes her own image by herself.
Yeah, they always love a good day.
Yeah. So I think what Dragon is saying there, that she basically that she was with her mom. Her mom was in a wheelchair. When they got home, Gypsy ran away to go to this comic convention.
Oh.
Yeah, because he said he sat in the wheelchair with her mom. She left later,
at home.
She left later after they got home. And then Dragon says, yes, some other creators banned Dan for life. Everyone thought she was 15, but 19, I believe. So this happened when she was 19.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but she looked 15 because she didn't really get a lot of exercise to grow, because she was stuck in the wheelchair and fed in a feeding tube.
Yes. Yeah. So Dragon says, yes, some of the other creators banned Dan for life. Everyone thought she was 15, but she was 19, I believe. So what she did.
She met Dan or she met Nick at
No,
this convention?
she met Dan at the convention. She ran away to meet Dan at the convention, at the comic
And
book
then her
convention.
mother hunted her down and
Yes,
brought her back. Okay,
yes.
got it.
And Dragon
Hmm.
Approved did the
Yeah.
the double 100 and
Choo
Spoonful of Tuna
choo.
says Gypsy said from her own mouth that her mom told her to be humble and relax. Also, Gypsy walked around a lot. Dee Dee had said that the wheelchair was used when Gypsy felt paralysis.
Okay. Yeah. More manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dragon says she didn't know, she didn't even know Nick at that time. Dan called Dee Dee and said, come get her. Okay, so Dan called Dee Dee and told Dee Dee to come and get her.
So she didn't actually hunt her down. She went, okay.
And
According, well, we don't know. That's what Dan said. Okay.
yeah, according to Dan's interrogation.
Right.
When he was
Because
interrogated.
if he was thinking he was with a 15-year-old, right? And then, but the mother came and hunted him down. You don't want to get busted for almost, having relations with even if she is 19, but you thought she was 15, she looked 15, then, and you're going to get busted for that. So you tell everybody, oh no, I called the mother and told her, your daughter's here. You need to come get her. Yeah.
And
I
Spoonful of
could see that being a story.
Yes. Spoonful of Tunes. The Gypsy also has, I don't know, maybe you can pronounce that word, microcephaly. She
Microcephaly. Yeah, whatever. I don't know.
she is
That one.
she is a petite girl. I mean, the girl brags about being 120 pounds at 35. Today, she is like also 4'11", 4'11". And
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's like an actual genetic thing and if she's been tested genetically and it's part of her DNA and yes, that's what she has. Or it would also make sense that her growth was stunted because growth isn't only the food that you eat, but it's also, you need to exercise, you need to move and exercise your muscles and they stretch and the bones can grow because they're being stretched. And so if you're not getting all the exercise as well as the proper nutrition, then that could stunt your growth too, but maybe it's both.
yeah, and Dan agreed with Dragon agreed with you right here. Very true. Implications may vary. Spoonful of Tune says in the Cape Cod video, Gypsy is walking around. And then she Spoonful of Tunes also said Gypsy was also allowed to drink according to the videos she sent Nick.
And the drinking and medications isn't good, no matter what your age is or anything.
Yeah, and then Spoonful of Tunes said Gypsy had documents of her own real age, and then after that, the micro deletion was diagnosed in 2011.
Okay.
I mean, I do agree with you about the drinking. If she's on medications, she shouldn't have been allowed to drink. Spoonful of Tunes said, "Look up the microcephaly," and yes, she admits that. Look up the microcephaly.
But
Yeah.
her admitting something is like her mother saying she has something.
Yes.
I wouldn't take anybody's word just because they say it. You got a FOIA request that has medical, of course, medical has HIPAA, whatever. Yeah. Unless somebody sees it and comes out and says, yes, I saw the medical records and it's true or something, then just because they say it, I'm sorry at this point. Maybe it's true. Exactly. I'm by the way, I'm not saying that she doesn't have it. Okay. She could very well have it, but I'm just saying that in addition to that, it could be compounded by the fact that she wasn't getting nutrition or exercise the way she should have. And it could be just that if she doesn't have the other one, microcephaly, it looks like.
And Dragon, can you please explain to Sky Blue in the chat what microdeletion is? She's wanting to know what that is.
And Dragon says there are medical records that show it.
Okay.
And I'm guessing microdeletion is just being written so it's easier than trying to say microcephaly. Cephaly?
Yeah.
Microcephaly. So they started writing microdeletion. I think it's the same thing, though, that they're talking about.
Okay.
Microphaly.
Yeah, that's what. That's what they're talking about. The microphaly. Yes. So he
No. I'm just going to open the door real quick for my cats. Just a second.
Okay.
Come on. Come on,
What she's talking about right there, Maven, is this. She was talking about the marriage and then the divorce. She got married to this guy. Believe his name was Ryan Anderson.
She just said Ken.
This is the new person she's with.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. She met two guys while she met apparently a bunch of guys while she was locked up and writing. The first guy's name was, I believe, was Ryan Anderson, and she met him. She got out. They got married. They did the dirty, and then she divorced him and went back with this other guy named Ken, who she was also writing while she was in prison.
Oh, so they were out of prison, but so they weren't also, because when she says I met them in prison, it sounds like they were both in prison. And I'm like, well, isn't it a woman's prison? So you wouldn't have men prisoners. So that means they'd have to be working at the prison. But if you said I met him when I was in prison, that would be different than I met him in prison. But that could just be a language.
Spoonful of Tunes.
He was part of the fan club. Okay.
Ken did not work in prison. He was just a part of the Gypsy fan club and emailed her.
Okay. Yeah. So now you know why I had my confusion. It was just her lack of English skills.
Yes. Dragon approved. Says it's crazy. It has numbers and it's so rare in a textbook. It's textbook worthy, but it didn't bring in grants like other things. I believe Dee Dee was desperate. Gypsy admits she knew when she was 6 she could walk.
Yeah, she said that in this interview earlier, that she could walk.
Spoonful of Tunes said such as her higher palate on why she needed dentures and her eye surgery. There's like 6 guys she married Ryan before release. So she married Ryan before release, and she was diddling 6 guys or writing stuff away.
Yeah, I was wondering, when she's talking, it was almost like every parent in the world. You need to set boundaries. You need to teach consequences. I tell you to finish everything on the plate. If you don't, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. And when you tell me you're hungry later, I'm going to bring it back out, and you're not getting anything else to eat until you finish what's on your plate. You do things to teach them that actions have consequences. So there's a line between parenting, that kind of parenting, and actually withholding love. And there wasn't anything specific there that she said that would say that the love, I'm not going to hug you. I'm not going to, something that's showing love,
Yes.
you know.
And Spoonful of Tunes just said her micro deletion has a lot to do with her physical appearance and also eye sometimes.
Mm.
And then Dragon Proof said, I hope the baby stays safe. It is scary. Baby Aurora looks like Grandma Dee Dee.
Mm.
And then
Well, there's
Sky
the
Blue
nature
agreed with
versus
you.
nurture. I haven't seen a picture of the baby and I haven't seen a picture of the grandma, so I don't know. But we were talking about nature versus nurture. She mentioned it as well in this interview. And of course, there is a lot of the nurture side of things in how she was raised to become who she is today. But I also think that there could be some nature involved. I think it's both. Dee Dee had issues, and she could have been self-medicating with the medicines that she had. She could have had undiagnosed and just maybe diagnosed. I don't know her medical history. The mother may have had some mental issues that led her to be the way that she was, which then could also carry on in Gypsy Rose, and I guess her daughter's name is Aurora. But nature can be overcome with proper nurturing.
Yeah, totally understandable. Spoonful of Tunes said, basically telling Dragon, for real, it's scary how much she looks like Dee Dee. Her nose on down is, or her nose on down is Dee Dee.
Okay. I'm just gonna open another tab here.
Dragon says
Dee Dee,
the
Rose.
shadows, the shadows of all sides. Sky Blue says, in my opinion, Gypsy seems the type to have type that'll be jealous of her daughter.
Oh yeah, for sure. If the daughter gets more attention or something.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at pictures. Gypsy Rose actually looks a lot like her mother too.
Yeah, I know. It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I just see the baby from the back. I don't see any pictures, comparing the baby and the grandmother,
Yeah.
or what she is now. I mean, she's a couple of years old now.
Well, I don't know if she'd be a couple of years old, because that 60 Minutes interview is like 8 months old, so I don't know if
Hmm.
she'd be.
Oh, and she was pregnant then. Okay. Well, I see her in a high chair eating food from a spoon, being spoon fed. So you should be at least a year old before you start eating solid food.
Yeah. Dragon says there's only a side view, but the nose is definitely grandma. Dragon also said the baby's a year old. Spoonful of Tune says Gypsy is jealous of her sister Mia, and I think it's sad that she admits it so often.
She has a sister? Where was the sister when all this was going on?
I think the sister was living with her dad.
Ah.
And
Dad gets one, mom gets one.
Yeah.
Well, we see how that works out.
And Spoonful of Tune says the baby is one. So the daughter,
Okay.
so her daughter is a year old. And
so probably she's been deprived of eating for so long, so much of her life, that she's giving this, wanting her daughter. So, I mean, I'm just from what you guys are telling me, right? I don't know anything, But from what the picture that I'm getting, then she's actually pushing her daughter to eat the way she never got to eat, right? I'm going to give her everything I never got. But that's not
Yeah.
good. That's not good. I mean,
Okay.
they should be on, well, they should be on breast milk, but if you don't have breast milk, then, formula or whatever, sometimes
Yes.
until 2 years
Yeah.
old,
Dragon Approved
but at
said,
least 1 year old.
yeah. Yeah. Dragon Approved said the sister and her brother is with her dad, and they're both they're both Christies. So they're her half sister and her half brother.
Oh, someone said something about Christy being the stepmom. So that's where the stepmom
Yes.
comes in. She never lived
Yeah.
with the stepmom. The stepmom married the dad after. Okay. I'm getting
Yes.
it.
And Mia's a nurse.
Hmm.
Her sister Mia's a nurse. Dragon Approved says, I only know Foya's and her interviews, and then
Hmm.
and also Gypsy has an older sister, Rod. Rod, Gypsy's dad, had 3 kids by 19. So she has, so she has an older sister, she has Mia, and then she has a brother. Um, by her dad. It was her dad. Rod had 3 kids by 19. So I'm
Did they all
wondering if
have the same mother, or
that's what
only
I'm
the sister?
that's what I'm wondering if they all have the same mother, or uh, if the other 3 kids are by Christy the stepmom.
Because you got to have at least a year and a half
Yeah.
between kids being born.
Um,
That's like 4.5 years. So he'd be like 14 and a half, 15 years old when he started having kids. They were high school
apparently,
sweethearts.
yeah.
The truth train is full of all kinds of stuff. Oh my God. Well, I hope that Christy brought some stability into Rod's life, as well as the other siblings. And if there's half siblings, I don't know. But hopefully Christy was a better influence. And so if they all turned out okay, and I don't know, if they're able to be involved with their niece, Aurora,
yeah.
Maybe Aurora has half a chance if she's surrounded if other people are allowed in her life as she's growing up that could provide a more stable influence.
Okay, Spoonful of Tune says her brother is like 9 months younger. Rod had three baby mamas and 5 kids.
Yeah, he's a winner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was anxious to get married and I told you I grew up on TV. I also grew up watching the Brady Bunch and the Waltons and things like this.
Yeah.
And I was an only child. So I wanted to have a big family, right? Now I had my mother was one of 5. So I had several cousins. Okay. And that was the closest I had to siblings, right? So I wanted to have the Brady Bunch or have the Waltons, and have lots of kids. Well, in order to have enough time to have a lot of kids, I got to start early. So I got married at 18, and or maybe I was 18 or 19. I don't know. It was right out of high school. Okay. And I had 3 kids, and I did not choose well with the man that I was married to for 11 years, the father of all 3 of my children. I did not choose well. And I thought that I knew exactly what I wanted to do and how to do it. But I underestimated that it's not you alone that controls everything. The husband, the father controls things, the in-laws, the grandparents, the neighbors, the schools, the, the babysitter, uh, social thing. My daughter started getting snarky. I didn't know why. And then I'm watching Full House because I figured, there's no sex, there's no violence, and, watch Full House. That's a good family,
Yeah.
oriented TV show. But all the canned laughter comes after snarky remarks.
Yeah.
And then, like, my daughter's getting snarky because of Full House, the one TV show that I'm thinking's okay. You know, you can't control
Exactly.
everything. Even if you know what to do correctly, you can't control it all. And so I've thought, having experienced it, that maybe being so young and having the kids isn't a good idea. Maybe you should wait until you're a little bit older and more mature. I mean, I was pretty mature. All right. I look back at myself then. I wasn't that much different. I have a lot more knowledge now because I've lived so much longer and I have more knowledge. But my critical thinking skills were pretty much the same as they were, back then. I don't know. I don't know why I'm telling you all that to say I relate. I relate. I understand. And maybe a dysfunctional family was just in the cards from the
Yeah.
beginning.
Dragon said Gypsy is pretty close uh, to Mia or her brother. Well, Gypsy is pretty close to the Mia or her brother, but her dad and Dee Dee were only married for a little bit. I hear they I hear they don't want any part of it. So her brothers and sisters
Mm.
don't want any part of what's going on with her. Um, Sky Blue said, "My oldest brother and sister are the same age for 2 weeks every year, but we are Catholic."
Yeah.
And Dragon Approved said, "Missouri has a son of Sam law where you can't make money, but Gypsy moved to Louisiana. There is no law. Uh, YouTube creator without a crystal ball knew them all personally before and after jail release. Spoonful of Tunes. Rodney was 18, had his had his first baby mom when he was 16. Okay, no, he was 18. The baby mom was 16. And he then had Gypsy. Dee Dee was 21. Then Rod got with Christy, and
Mm.
then Rod got Christy pregnant. They both were 18 and 19. Both bleh, pregnant. They both were 18. So by 19, Rod had 3 kids.
Oh my gosh.
Dragon Approved was blocked because she was asking why the story wasn't staying the same. If you listen in this 60 Minutes interview, Gypsy twists what she says, uh, but it but it is never twisted the same.
Mm.
Spoonful of Tunes and Rod married Christy by the age of 19 or 20 and neglected his first 2 children. That's why Gypsy's older sister was adopted by her stepdad. And then Spoonful of Tunes again. Gypsy's older sister wants nothing to do with Gypsy.
Mm.
And Sky Blue. Yes, in the 90s, children on TV shows were talking back to parents. They portrayed children as smarter than parents, which, I mean, you and I are Gen X. I mean, that is a very true statement. Back in the
Mhm.
90s, I mean, hell, we thought we were smart parents.
Yeah.
And look what happened to us. We got our ass beat.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Now my
Yeah, I
millennial
was
children have their
8.
own issue. They're in their 30s now.
Yeah, and then me being 8 years old, I thought I was the king shit of the house and defied my dad, and I was chased around the house with a belt.
Yeah.
yeah, I just so happened to see my mom standing in the living room. I'm running around my mom. My dad is chasing behind me. We're running circles
Yeah.
around my mom, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, yeah. And then every time my dad gets close, I change direction and run the other way. And he ended up proving how smart our parents are, because when I changed directions again, he was standing there waiting, and he popped me with the tip of the belt.
Ah,
So,
yeah.
y- Dragon Proof says, "I'm 42. If I raise better than me kids, I think I succeeded."
There you go.
Uh, and then Spoonful of Tune says, "Well, I'm the youngest in chat."
Well,
Uh,
welcome. We want all ages here, all
yeah,
perspectives.
welcome. Sky Blue says, "Yes, in the '90s, children on TV shows were taught." Yeah, okay, I just read that one. Duh. Let's see here.
And becoming a mother.
Three. I'm really confident. I'm not gonna be like my mother was. You just like your mother. You're a con artist.
Right. She's not going to do
how do I
the
put
same
that?
things.
Offended when people try to
What'd you say, Maven?
She's not going to do the same. This is what happens in family dynamics a lot. Let's say your dad is a drunk, and so you decide you're not going to drink, right? Because you're not going to be like your dad. However, what you don't understand is the reason your dad was drinking is the same reason you do whatever you do that's different, right?
Exactly.
Because that underlying part is what's the same. So yeah, she won't do exactly that. She's not going to parade her daughter around with fake medical issues. She's not going to do that. But she is going to be manipulative.
Yeah. Yeah, like as far as the manipulative and conning part, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree there. She learned
Exactly.
that from she learned that from her. Okay. Sky Blue says, "This past my bedtime. I really enjoyed chatting with everyone. Robert, Raven, Dragon, Spoonful. Good night. I'll catch you next time." You have a good night, Sky Blue. I'm actually getting ready to end this live stream because I'm getting ready to go to bed too, because I was yawning behind when my mic was muted. I
heard you.
So we ending this stream, and you gonna be live tomorrow morning, Maven? Or live your time?
It's possible. Oh, am I doing a live? No.
Yeah.
It's my weekend. It's my weekend now. I mean, as far as shows.
But
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I don't.
Yeah, I keep forgetting we're on the opposite time zone. These are the last two guys. She claims she tested the baby for the microdeletion and apparently negative, which is good. At least it's safe. It safeguards against future claims. Night and happy New Year.
Bye, Dragon.
Gypsy has been since she's 18 or 21. When that because she was stealing baby clothes prior to Nick. I think we took over. I'm sorry. Oh no, guys, yeah, it's okay. Dragons approved. You guys didn't take over. I actually put the link to my Discord in chat. If you want to go ahead and click that link, and since you and Spoonful are now mods, you can go into the Discord and chat and mod voice or chat and text. As a 22-year-old, Gypsy is one of the freakiest frogs I know.
I just want to comment on who was it? Spoonful said she was stealing baby clothes. Yeah. That is extremely dangerous, in my opinion, because you start to think of having that baby is like having a live doll. Okay. Yeah. You don't expect that they're going to say no and to your face, and they're going to say, I hate you, and all these things. And in particular, when they're a baby and they're crying and you can't figure out what it is, it gets very frustrating being a parent. All right. And we go through it, and you're losing sleep. You don't have enough sleep and all this, and we get through it. All right. And we do the best we can. And we try to figure out what the baby's needs are so we can take care of. Do we need to change the diaper? Do we need to burp them? Are they hungry? We try to figure it out. But there are times when it drives you crazy. And that's the nature of being a parent.
Yes.
And I can really see high risk for shaken baby syndrome or something like that.
I just said that. Because babies can cry relentlessly, and and they can wear on your nerves after a time, and you could snap and kill the baby, and not do it on purpose, but not knowing what you're doing, and shaking the baby where it dies from shaken baby syndrome.
Right. And the baby's made it to 1. Yeah. So that's good. However, like I said, the picture that I saw on Google when I searched, she's feeding the baby solid food with a spoon. But you know what? Everybody can parent different. I can't say she's bad because of that. My mother-in-law would always, I wanted my kids breastfed only, and when my mother-in-law would babysit, she would feed them extra stuff. You can't control it. You can't control everything. I wanted my kids to grow up sugar-free and have no like fake sugar, right? You get fruit sugar and things like, you have sugar like that, but not white sugar, they go to grandma, buy them a candy bar.
Yeah, I want you to stick around after this live. I got to talk to you about something.
Okay.
I hope everyone has a good night, and thank you to Dragon Approved and Spoonful of Tunes, giving us really good questions during this live about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And I want everyone to have a safe New Year's, and one last question, and we got to go. I've been dealing with kids since I was 5. I have 3 cousins. Every one of them. I am also a 3-year-old. To me, she doesn't cradle the baby while holding her.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good. I mean, I haven't seen pictures or videos. I just saw a few from that quick Google search. But yeah, if she's not cradling the baby, I mean, you would want pictures of that. You would want to show how loving you are.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Spoonful of Tunes, go ahead and click that Discord link since you are a mod. And if I need to do a mod meetings, you can there in voice. Okay. Holding her daughter like a toddler holding a.
Yeah. Well, this is where I was saying that it's really important that you have your partner with you to help show you and help support you.
Yes.
So that you learn the things that you didn't learn yourself growing up. That's what you need in order to overcome an upbringing that was lacking. And if he's not helping her, like, oh no, don't hold the baby like that, hold the baby like this. If nobody's teaching her, then yeah, it's going to be a rough road.
Yeah. All right, everyone have a good night, and I will put out my next live stream on my community page. Have a good night, guys.
Truth cuts through the static. Silence hides the loudest lies. No spin, no fear, no smoke-filled screen. Just timelines tight and questions clean. Every detail, every name, we follow facts, not online fame. When stories fracture, we slow it down. Slow cry.